for us
Oh.
about something, and then said he would call the Dawn.
Another individual.
Yes. And then an hour later, the Dawn called me, and I did not answer.
Oh.
I was like, no, I'm off. Sorry.
Off work.
Mm-hmm.
No longer available. Are we ever?
Paid time off.
Are we ever unavailable? We're live. There's our confirmation.
Sorry.
370 iterations.
370.
What's our secondary function? Video game and what podcast? Because me and Brant just spent the preamble bitching about work back and forth. Office space.
Office space. Office talk. Water cooler talk.
Water cooler podcast.
Water cooler chit chat. Just chatting.
Let's hang around the water cooler. We are on Just Chatting. I think that's what we broadcast under, isn't it? Just Chatting.
Probably.
We got some kittens outside that keep setting off. So that's the kittens you discovered. They're like borderline full-blown cats at this point. Joker's walk past the garage camera and it's like, motion detected. Okay, we're good. It did that weird glitchy not streaming thing again, offline. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 370 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game and cat tip raising podcast. Cat tips. I don't know if that's what I advertise. Cat raising tips. Cesar blessed us with some kittens. What's it been, about 6 months ago? I say blessed us with. He discovered them. And they've been hanging around since. We may or may not be feeding the mama cat. Now she lets us like pet her and stuff. She's like a wild feral animal, and Brad shakes his head like, you are never getting rid of that fucking cat. The cat is all yours. The goal is like to get her fixed at some point, right? And then you stop the stem of the multiplying.
Catch her.
I know we're all fans of the gatos here. Nekos, Cesar, that's correct?
Yes.
Tonight's news: are retailers ditching Xbox? ? The retailers I have been by recently have not. Tomonobu Itagaki has passed. I saw the news, but maybe there's some details in here because I didn't know this was something that could happen suddenly. Get them before they are gone. More games being delisted. Assassin's Creed boss pushed out of Ubisoft. And we have this month's PlayStation Extra and Premium games. Spoilers, there's some pretty good titles in here. Welcome to tonight's show. This is the 370th iteration of NOFODcast. I'm one of your hosts, Richard Bergman, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
Brant, great job once again on the news. You successfully avoided any Jeff Keighley presentations. No Nintendo Directs were captured in this week's news. You have spared us from an extensive... I feel like we're news. That one broke me when I was like, I don't know if I could do this last.
Heavy.
Yeah, it was so... The one that was just me and you. I was like, oh God, there's a lot of news. But thank you once again for building the news. Also here, our resident soundboard master and lore master, Cesar Concepcion II. Cesar, welcome.
Hello.
Are you also glad there's a minimal amount of news?
Yeah, we can go with that.
You have an update for us on your tariffed Play Asia ordering. If you want to go through that, or if it is still in Louisville, Kentucky. I still can't believe that. You talked about it, what, like 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And what did that process involve?
mean, they said it was going to be disposed of like 3 times, so I didn't know what was going on with it.
And you just had to
And when
wait? You just saw the disposal announcement or whatever it was? It just had to wait? Like, please
Yeah,
don't do that.
and I just worked with PlayAsia. That was it.
So they communicated back and forth. You weren't like totally in the dark watching a shipping tracking system or
No,
anything.
I had initiated the communication. So
Oh, okay. But at least they kept it up.
last time I communicated with them, I said I still don't know if I was going to get it. They stopped responding to me, so
Oh
it
no.
is what it is. Yeah.
That's not a glowing review of their process.
Oh,
And we talked about it a couple episodes. This is the day and age we live in at this time. Was the item worth the time and the struggle and everything? Are you pleased to finally have it in your possession?
Sure.
That's all we can ask for. Let's get into this news. No one's ditching PlayAsia, but are retailers potentially ditching Xbox? What does that mean? They stopped selling Fire Sticks on Amazon because that's an Xbox. Did they stop selling ROG Allies? That's an Xbox. I'm on the Game Pass story. This comes from VGC VideoGamesChronicle.com. Microsoft denies claims that Target and Walmart stores are removing Xbox products from shelves. We've all seen the pictures. I think I mentioned it last week. Seems like some places are using Xbox kiosk or was it shelf space in their stores? Like that had become the new Switch 2 location. So I actually looked. I meant to text you guys, but I actually looked at local Walmart a couple days after that, and they still had a full blown, Xbox section and headsets and consoles, and it's still a pretty good mix of Xbox One games in there too, believe it or not. But I think that might be just this particular Walmart. It just kind of sits there. Chris Collion reports rumors spreading over the weekend that U.S. stores were clearing out their Xbox stock. Reddit user Jawad127 posted a message on the gaming Reddit page on Saturday night claiming that they work for Target and that their store was no longer selling Xbox games. Quote, on Wednesday, the Target I work for has removed all Xbox games and I'm pretty sure it will be store-wide, they claimed. This is the part that interested Cesar that he caught on to that I had not noticed. All the games have been discontinued and will most likely go clearance. Of course, as we all know, Target clearance are not company-wide anymore like they used to be. It's your mileage may vary, akin to Walmart and stuff, so you never know what you'll find. Like currently, was it Princess Peach Showtime is like $18 at some Targets, and the Mario versus Donkey Kong game is like $15 or $16. There's currently some decent clearance games. If it's your mileage may vary. You never know what's at your store. Back to the story. Quote, after all these years of selling Xbox games, it's weird to see only PlayStation and Nintendo games being sold. They just go on to talk about nostalgia and things like that. Destin Legary from IGN called Walmart. Shinobi602 posted a picture from Target and Walmart claiming the Xbox store stock was diminishing. Major Nelson chimed in. When's the last time we heard from Major Nelson?
it's been a minute.
Of Xbox Live former Xbox Live director of programming, Larry Erb, Major Nelson, who left Microsoft in 2023. It feels like it's been longer than that, right? Like he's been non-existent through the series stuff, it feels like.
Yeah.
He says, quote, all I know is I went to a couple Target and GameStop stores this week and did find Xbox hardware and games for sale. My page is bugging. Y'all might have, there we go. Now Microsoft has posted a statement denying the claim, stating that Target and Walmart are continuing to sell Xbox products. Like the aforementioned Fire Sticks, maybe? Quote, Target and Walmart, among other retailers, remain committed partners for Xbox consoles, accessories, and games, the company told Windows Central in a statement. Friend of the show, Charles, is shopping for an Xbox currently. And I was like, now's probably not a good time. The price just went up, but...
Yeah.
So Charles is a big PUBG player, and I know he has a PS5, and I was like, well, just transfer. He mainly plays Xbox One X PUBG. And as we talked about, maybe a month or so ago, they are going to sunset that last gen version of PUBG. And he discovered that you cannot transfer your assets across your account on the same platform. So I have yet to test this. I believe what he says when he says it doesn't, because I just assumed it would be like these other accounts, right? Where you just sign into your account and your stuff's there. Like Call of Duty works that way, right? Cesar, could you play as KD on Xbox or PC or PlayStation? It didn't matter. And
He's just linked to your account.
Yeah. And apparently PUBG doesn't do that. So he's got to get an upgraded Xbox. He's like, what's the best one you can get? I was like, it's the Series X. It just went up in price, but that is the cream of the crop. This article also notes Microsoft increased the price of its Xbox consoles in the US on October 3rd. A Series X cost $649 compared to its launch price of $499. Look at us, guys. Our investment's paying off. It's $150 more than it was worth 5 years ago. We're already almost 5 years into this thing. So maybe just look around at your local stores. If you're listening, like, let us know where you are. And if you see this, go to a smattering of stores so you have a sample size and see if there is a presence there. I don't know if GameStop's a good example because they just have t-shirts and Funko Pops and helmets, Star Wars helmets.
But
have you guys said, ventured out?
Yeah, I've looked at a couple stores and I still see an Xbox section.
Yeah.
You know, these certain stores may be just clearing it out. I mean, honestly, the game sections are a little bit more barren than they have been in several years. And I know this came after, what was it, Sam's and Costco, or just Costco that was like seemingly clearancing Xbox systems?
I think it was both of them. And Sam's Club has the controllers for $30 currently. Last I saw. I don't know if that's exactly current. Another thing too, and there's not news about this, and like it wasn't advertised. I used to work for a video game retailer, and we were a Nintendo store. They sent us a lot of Nintendo stuff just because that was how our numbers fell. Like we ended up selling more GameCube stuff than your average store in our area, I guess. And I never saw the data behind that, but it was obviously driven somehow that we would get more copies of, say, Twilight Princess for GameCube or something. We tended to have more of that stuff. And retailers will also put stuff out like forward facing in certain areas too. Are we sure Brant's okay? So should we continue? Yep, there's Brant. I think we're okay. All right, Brant, you good? Thumbs up. Can we get he can't hear us either. I think he's okay. Brant, please tell us you're okay. I need a thumbs up.
Yeah, something with the charging cord is.
Oh, you're totally good.
It said my battery.
I saw like some.
Dying,
I saw some moving around. I didn't know if you were coughing. You were on mute. I was like, man, if he's going down, we gotta alert the authorities. We gotta let them know to save Brant. But I guess listeners, if you're in let us know like a specific area if you see a lack of Xbox content. Maybe this is their way. Maybe this is their next level of determining what an Xbox is will it still matter if we're not buying up this retail shelf space? As Cesar said, they're always looking for ways to make money, and I think there was a mandate from it wasn't an Xbox person, it was a Microsoft person saying they need to find ways to increase revenue. And if you're not paying retailers market space, that's one way to do it. This is all speculative till we get any more definitive details. On a sad note, iPad is struggling. This comes from VGC.com. This news came out late last night, I think. Early yesterday. Late 2 nights ago. That's when I had my insomnia and was messing around with the Steam Fest stuff. Steam Next Fest. Dead or Alive creator, Team Ninja founder, and Ninja Gaiden director Tomonobu Itagaki has passed away. The outspoken game designer was 58. I didn't know this was the Itagaki initially because the article that I saw pinned didn't have him with the sunglasses. Everybody knows him like always having the sunglasses on, these shades. Itagaki, who joined Tecmo in the early 1990s, went on to produce way back in those 1990s. Brant, it was a glorious age. I know you weren't there. It was a much simpler time. People had pagers. SSR nods. Itagaki, who joined Tecmo way back in the pre-Baby Brant days in the early 1990s, went on to produce and direct the first 4 Dead or Alive games, as well as Dead or Alive Ultimate and its spin-off, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. He was also in charge of Tecmo's critically acclaimed reboot of its Ninja Gaiden series, producing and directing Ninja Gaiden Black, and Ninja Gaiden 2. There was I wouldn't say it was strange, it was heartfelt. It sounded like he at least knew the end was coming. Was posted on his Facebook page. A family member posted it. He kind of apologized. It's sort of intimate-ish, so maybe go read that. Grief spoiler maybe, or something you can go look if that's something that interests you. But it was kind of an emotional, heartfelt goodbye posted by a family member. I don't know that there's been any details regarding his passing. This typically doesn't happen, right? Like, we didn't even know there was a composer or something a couple years ago that was just sudden and out of the blue, and it was like nobody knew anything. Nobody knew they were sick. Like, the illness was not public at all. It's very private. But that's a big loss.
58.
Yes,
that's not old, man.
No.
And for him to already have that prepared diatribe, last message there for a family member to post after his passing it's like, yeah, that had to be something he knew he had already made his peace with. And yeah, like you said, it's just kind of private.
Made some kick-ass video games. That's a hell of a catalog. He was not involved in some of the more recent Tecmo stuff, right? He's kind of been gone from there for a minute. Was there a spiritual successor that he worked on somewhere? Or, like, I feel like Itagaki hasn't been out of the spotlight that long, but some of these games are 20 years old now.
Yeah.
Article doesn't really go in on that, does it? The Chris Scullion VGC article?
Mm-mm.
Sad news. Next. All my shit's out of order. Brant, what games are being delisted?
Let's see. We've got 12 Pisikoi shoot 'em up games to be delisted from Steam this October the 31st.
What about Cesar when I saw this? I was like, these are Cesar games.
Yeah, I guess they're losing the licensing, the publisher City Connect, and there's 12 games that will be delisted here. So you have Gunbird 1 and 2, Gunburich, Dragon Blaze, Samurai Aces Episode 2 and 3, Soul Divide, Strikers 1945. 1945 2 and 1945 3 and Zero Gunner 2. Obviously, if you've already purchased these, you'll still be able to download them like before, but
this is only a Steam thing, right? I wonder why Steam only. Sales for these games across other platforms, including PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, will continue.
That's what I was just looking at. So it just seems like Steam. I don't know why only the PC rights have kind of like defaulted there then. But still, some people only play on Steam.
Strange. I've heard of these Seikyu shoot 'em up, like just that, the maker of those, right? The only ones I'm actually really familiar with are Gunbird and Gunbird 2 because they got Dreamcast ports. But these are akin to what we say, like Blazing Lasers or Ikaruga, that type of vertical scrolling shooter. I don't know that any of them are horizontal, like a R-type or anything. Says, are you more familiar with these?
Yeah, I mean they are hell shooters. City Connection. I think they're the publisher on Steam. I think on consoles they're being published by Punichi Software, other publishers.
Oh,
So it's just changing hands of publishers, probably on the PC version. So I imagine somebody else would really pick it up and release it on there.
okay.
They're not good ports anyways because the lag on them is horrible. It's not ones I would buy.
Mm.
So
On just these Steam versions specifically, or across all platforms?
just the Steam ones.
Okay.
It's a 3-second lag on all of them. So
Oh, that's horrible.
Ooh.
I'm glad I didn't scramble to have to buy any of these. So maybe this is a good thing for once. These are being delisted. We usually bemoan a delisting of titles, but this could be a good thing potentially.
I imagine somebody else is going to pick them up and bundle them and put them on there. So
Yeah.
City Connect doesn't really tend to publish their own stuff anymore. They tend to license it out more now.
What else has City Connection published? I see publisher. I don't know that I've ever seen that name before.
I think they've operated over here under the name of Jellico, if I remember correctly,
Ooh,
at some point.
like the old school Jellico, like the NES era of Jellicos. We'll see. Hopefully they're back. That is an upgraded SKU potentially on PC, a better version, better copy.
Oh yeah, they were originally Jellico, and then their successor was City Connection, which is what they're currently on right now. So
They had to ditch that Jellico name. It's like when an airline has like ValueJet. Remember the ValueJet crash, and then they rebranded after that, so it wasn't the connotation of ValueJet.
So you can, I mean, this is from Wikipedia, so hopefully this is accurate. And Jellico's parent company, Game Yato, filed for bankruptcy in 2014, causing Jellico to vanish from the video game industry. The company's video game assets would be purchased by City Connection, an indie Japanese studio that continues to use their games for other side projects and licensing deals, the company itself being named after one of Jellico's games. The original Jellico company, Ancom Holdings, quit the video game business in 2009. Ancom dissolved in 2013 and was delisted from the JAST Act the same year.
Interesting. So City Connection is actually a game as well.
Yes.
City Connection.
Like it's like little GTI or club cars that go around and is a shoot 'em up. City Connection. I think you can buy the Arcade Archives version of it. It's still currently on sale.
Hamster did
It
that.
says arcade title. Yeah, that's correct.
That's probably a better performing title than any of the ones in this collection, according to your 3-second lag assessment. 3 seconds of lag is brutal. That's bad. It's like an early LCD without a game mode. Trying to play something on there.
They just fixed it. They've been around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's other names for them. I think Gunbird came out in the United States by Mobile Light Force, which I think is still a version of that on Steam. So,
Am I thinking of the same ones? Are these the two Dreamcast games, Gunbird 1 and 2? I thought those were Capcom titles for some reason.
Mobile Light Force, the first one was on PlayStation. Mobile Light Force 2 was on PS2. They just renamed them and put the looks like Charlie's Angels assets on the covers.
I've seen
But
that.
they are just,
I've seen that
they are
box
just-
art. Yep.
They are just renamed versions of Gunbird. So that's all
Okay.
it is.
It's always
I mean,
in
this
those
is part of
threads
the-
of like misleading box art.
Part of those localization things were whatever they did that thought would help sell a game. So
Oof.
Yeah.
Another one's like the Castle Shikigami series. It always looks like Castlevania or something like that on the cover, but it's a shooter.
yeah, they re-released the second one I think on Switch maybe earlier this year or late last year. So
Because it was initially over here on like PS2 and Wii. I think it's been that long since
it was
those.
all those games were budget titles that came out towards the end of those life cycles for those consoles. So
Mm-hmm. Love me some vertical and horizontal shooters. It's just like it's like comfort gaming.
You know what I love, Richard?
Brant, please tell me.
Some Assassin's Creed.
I know you love Assassin's Creed. Do you prefer vertical or horizontal Assassin's Creedage? Or do you appreciate the entire catalog?
Horizontal.
Horizontal.
Some vertical. I mean,
it is Assassin's Creed, right? You do have to go up at some point and dive off a ledge into some hay.
You have to go up and parkour.
You can horizontal parkour. Parkour is not like a vertical. It's not just a vertical activity.
Horizontal parkour. Did some horizontal parkour with your mother last night, Trebek.
Oh, did you? I know you love some Assassin's Creed, Brant. Is this good news or bad news?
I don't know. I don't think this is the greatest news. This from Chris Scullion of VGC. The boss from the Assassin's Creed franchise says he didn't resign, that he was asked to step aside by Ubisoft. This comes after, I know, like at least a week or two ago, I believe, we reported that there was that new subsidiary of Ubisoft, part owned by Tencent, called Vintage Studios, that was now going to take over Assassin's Creed, as well as a couple of the other big Ubisoft franchises. Yeah. Well, along with that, not too long after that, the boss of Assassin's Creed here actually left. It had been reported that he had been offered a leadership position at the subsidiary, but declined the offer.
Damn.
And instead decided to leave Ubisoft. Then he...
Oh, that was the internal version, right?
Yes. He then clarified his events on his LinkedIn page, stating that the position he was offered was not one he was holding and appeared to be of less importance. So he said, he wrote to his basically to his colleagues, who were kind of surprised that he had left after so many years, and especially since he still had seemingly had a lot of passion for Assassin's Creed. He said, "The truth is simple. I did not make that choice. Ubisoft decided to transfer the leadership of Assassin's Creed franchise to someone closer to its new organizational structure. The different position was mentioned, but did not carry the same scope, mandate, or continuity with the work I had been entrusted with in recent years." Stating that, he still loved his time at Ubisoft, and that he, doesn't hold any resentment. He said, Ubisoft had been my home for all my professional life, and I will always be grateful to the people, the projects, and the belief that together we could create worlds that inspired millions. But I owe it to my teams, past and present, to say this plainly. I did not walk away. I stayed at my post until Ubisoft asked me to step aside. So...
Yeah, sounds like the restructuring was like a force out sort of deal.
Yeah, it's... I mean, it was.
What does that mean? Why would they have wanted to go that direction? These most recent ones have been successful, right? I know they're well reviewed. Are they financially successful?
I mean, they seem to still do pretty decent. I mean, this happens, a lot with everything anyway, but now that they kind of made that subsidiary and Tencent has, I would say a pretty decent stake in there.
Yeah.
They're going to want to kind of have some say-so. So when the long-running franchise head comes over there and they're like, yeah, we still want you to do this, but we want to have, maybe the say so. Maybe we're the ones that come up with this idea, and you just kind of step back and let us, come up with all these ideas and this, that, and you just kind of, we still want you to do your thing, but in a less capacity. And, this guy, it's obviously been his for forever.
Right.
And he still wants to be hands-on. He's still got passion and loves what he's doing there. And
there's something to be said for continuity in a franchise, right? Like having that same captain steer the ship. He uses the Star Trek Next Generation analogy later. But
it would be really hard to see something you had your hands on for so long and have been steering a certain way and guiding a certain way, and now they're like, well, we still want you to work on it. We like what you do with it, but we kind of want to take over this and kind of do our own thing with it.
And it's going to be somebody else's baby. Right.
And it apparently got to the point where, I mean, he's been there long enough. He probably thought he had enough sway to be like, no, I know what I'm doing. Had a tenure with the franchise. Obviously it's still doing good. So I think it should still be on me. And eventually Ubisoft said, look, you don't have a choice now.
Yeah.
Either you go to that or you leave. So, unfortunately, what that means for the future of the franchise, who knows? Obviously, they're still going to make them, but
stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
It's never good when the laundry's getting aired out like this. Like, you have to hear my story via my LinkedIn. It's not the best look. I'll have ads for Assassin's Creed Mirage now on this page. It's nice. It's $20 on Xbox on Amazon. It's $18.99 on PS5 also on Amazon.
I think I saw it for probably about $20, maybe a little less clearanced on for Xbox even.
Oh, there it is. More evidence of the great Xbox clearance of 2025. They had Gamefly had the new Shadows game for what, 25 or 30 this past week.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad
And
deal.
it got leaked that that Shadows is coming to Switch 2, which had already been rumored anyway. So
it's your next Switch 2 title. There's something else on that list too, right? Coming out for Switch 2. I felt like there was another game key card leaked. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the next big release, is that Assassin's Creed title.
Mm-hmm. That's all I can think of.
All right, last but not least, let's wrap up this news. PlayStation Plus game catalog for October. This comes via the PlayStation blog and Adam Michel. PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. So this is your, what's the bottom one? Essential. This is your middle and top tiers. Brant, have you? I think we briefly mentioned this last episode. Has the Xbox Game Pass, like that lack of perceived value, that sort of thing, has that made you maybe want to spend your money on a higher tier of PlayStation Plus? Or just keep coasting with what you got? Okay. I wondered if that value perception had flipped and all of a sudden an increase on one made that one look more appetizing for. Assessor says vote with your wallet, and these companies are competing for our dollars across every platform, right?
Yeah, I'm good with Extra at the moment, but I may even drop to just Essential. Especially, I'll get to it later in the article, but PlayStation has done something now 2 times.
Oh.
Both this month and last month, and we'll get to that a little later in the article.
You want to go with this news, though? I kicked you off.
Yeah. I can hit this up. So they actually gave us some spooky games for the end of October here.
I know you guys both love this one.
Silent Hill 2, the Blooper Team remake for PS5. For PS5 as well, you have Until Dawn. This, I believe, was the rebuilt version.
How was that one? This one just kind of came and went. How was that perceived? Or then we had the movie right after that.
Yeah, it was still Until Dawn. I mean, I didn't really hear one thing one way or the other, really. So it must have been at least the same as the original version. Next up is V Rising for PS5. It's a vampire survival action RPG.
This is
Then
also
departing.
that's in this month's Humble Bundle choice for PC. So if this is your cup of tea and you're not on this PlayStation tier, I don't know anything about it. People were raving about it on Reddit when they were talking about the Humble Bundle. So maybe this is potentially is it co-op? I think I took from, V Rising can be played solo co-op or in persistent online multiplayer. So that might be something we look at potentially for Steam Deck streaming.
Yeah.
What else do we get, Brant?
Departing from scary games for a moment, we got Yakuza Like a Dragon for PS5 and PS4. And then going back to a somewhat kind of scary game, Poppy's Playtime. Chapter 1 for PS4, PS5.
That thing's creepy
then
looking.
We have As Dusk Falls for PS4, PS5. Wizard with a Gun for PS5. And then your premium title is Tekken 3 for PS4 and 5. This is
Tekken
what I'm
3 is a
alluding
good-ass
to.
game. Go ahead.
Tekken
Brent.
3 is a good game,
Tekken
but both last month and this month they only added one title to your premium service.
What was last month's? Do you remember?
Legacy of Kain? That last Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen, was it?
For PS2?
Yeah. And that was it. You know, they said that they were, going to add more of the streaming stuff. We were supposed to start, or we did for a while, get VR games, more VR games with your premium subscription.
I don't think there's been one announced since I bought my PSVR 2. Is there a catalog? Is it a catalog?
No, they
thing?
announced it was with PSVR, like they did Indica, they did oh gosh, what was can't remember. It was like a puzzle type game.
And those are only on premium?
Yeah, we were mentioned them. They did them for several months, and then all of a sudden it just kind of like stopped. They stopped adding PSVR games to those titles. And then like we started getting less and less. We'd maybe a PS1, maybe a PS2 or PSP game. You get a small handful of them, and now we're only getting, like I said, last month we got one PS2 game, and this month we get one PS1 game. So you just talked about value for the subscription. I'm not seeing the added value in spending the extra money for premium when I obviously just pulled my copy of Tekken 3 from the shelf, but obviously I can go to the PSN store and buy this a la carte it's usually like $10. So I may even already own it. So
I was about to say, this seems like one of those you could pop onto the PS3 store and buy for like $5 or $6 and then let it be forward compatible for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I might need to look at that list for PSVR 2 and see. The kids are asking about VR again. And if I get like a month or two of access to some of these games instead of paying like 10 or 15 for each one, maybe that adds on a little bit of value too. They're all vying for our dollars, right? From every angle. Some are doing a better job at pitching that perceived value than others. But that's ebbs and flows. Like Xbox just went through Indiana Jones and Starfield and the Oblivion remaster. Like it seemed like they couldn't miss, and then they're just floundering. Unless you want Call of Duty or the Fortnite pass built in. Why can't we just get the Game Pass without that? Why can't they make that its own tier? Activision Game Pass, or are we headed to that? Here's the Activision build of Game Pass flavor. Here's the Fortnite flavor of Game Pass. Play it best here on Xbox. I don't know. Is that it for news, Brant?
Yeah, I was looking. I might be able to find a better thing because this is from 11 months ago. Somebody talking about they're in the UK, but there's a list of PSVR 2 title games that they are on the PlayStation Plus Premium with things like Synapse, The Last Clockwinder, Pistol Whip, Job Simulator, Vacation Simulator, Kayak VR, Mirage, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, Chapters 1 and 2, Walkabout Mini Golf, Before Your Eyes, Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord, and Synth Riders. Like I say, I'm pretty sure the Indica VR and was added to that as well, and there was something else. But yeah, you'll have to pop that in. Are you on premium or are you? I thought you were on just the base.
Yeah, I've been on the base one for a year. I think mine's up in December. But I think I was on the middle tier before that. Honestly, I may have been on Essential since they split off those 3 tiers. I may not have been on the top one in a couple years now. Again, my backlog is like outrageous. I don't think I have missed any opportunities there, except for potentially now that VR stuff that I wouldn't have access to otherwise. That might be a good one. Kind of like PC Game Pass built onto there. If you have a handheld or you're using a PC more than anything else, where it's that hidden value is in there for you. Sorry, because PC Game Pass is going to like what $15.99 or $16.99. And that might end up being, Cesar nods, that might end up being kind of a happy medium for the stuff that I'm streaming, because I played a lot of Oblivion Remastered this year through that service, so that benefited me. But that game's been, Green Man Gaming probably had it for like 40 or 45 at launch, which is a month and a half of the new Ultimate tier, so again, it's just another one of those comparisons and figuring out what works.
So it looks like AI, Google's AI broke it down as there's some PSVR games and PSVR 2 games. The PSVR 2 games that are with that premium look to be Arcade Paradise, Five Nights at Freddy's, Help Wanted 2, Humanity, The Last Clockwinder, Star Wars Tales of the Galaxy's Edge, Synapse, and 10 Hearts.
We tried that Galaxy's Edge demo, and the kids liked that a lot. Even without a whole lot of Star Wars context, they enjoyed it. Picking up weapons off the ground and stuff. It was actually pretty cool to watch, being outside the helmet. Yeah. Is that it for news? Are we done? We're done with the news.
That's it.
Outside of that, I think we all saw the announcement the Division Pro 2 has been announced by Apple.
Oh, yeah.
New M5 chipset. And then they kind of hid under there that Sony is separately selling PSVR 2 Sense controllers and charging stations. It will be available from Apple directly starting November 11th for the low price of $250.
For just the controllers?
Just the controllers and the charge cradle. That's it.
But they have yet to even be offered separately, right?
Yeah, this is the first time. So apparently soon you'll be able to sync it to your Vision Pro 2 headsets. So
interesting.
And you saw the Vision Pro 1 has no trade-in value? They won't let you trade it in at Apple.
Yeah. I mean, the rumors have been going around for a while that they were going to use the latest chipset inside the old headset. So nothing's been changed outside the chipset. So
just an internal upgrade. I mean, that was already a hell of a machine. So even just that uptick sounds like a solid upgrade. They didn't bring the price down on that at all, did they either?
Still $3,500, I believe.
That's the one to get. That would be a lot of fun. Whole Apple TV library in there and stuff. It would be pretty awesome.
I would justify it if I traveled a lot because I would use it, especially when I always see people. mentioned this before to you in person. I've seen videos of people just using that on an airplane and just submersing themselves and watching movies and stuff like that. So
And you have no
it's
clue you're
very,
stuck
very
on
yeah.
a tube flying through the air 30,000 feet above.
It seems most people praise it for the entertainment value. I mean, there are some multi-tasking aspects where you can set up
Yep.
a fake keyboard and do actual computing work based off there in different locations and make it spatial. But whether or not, I mean,
The cool thing to me was that video you sent me where the person had the screens posted up around their house. Like they had all these different TV sets and they just walked through the house and there was like NBA basketball on one and like a stock market ticker on the next screen they went by, and it was just places in their house on the wall where they'd set up these panels. But you could only see it in the headset. That's the only place it was at. I was like, damn, that's pretty fucking cool.
One of them had like God of War on their TV or something like that.
Yes.
Remote playing. Yeah.
Yes, that was awesome.
Everything stayed where it was at, so
pretty cool stuff. Yeah, good news bits. Sorry, that was this week. Apple didn't do one of their big pomp and circumstance things. They just did like a web. It was just a press briefing, right? In the web. It wasn't even a tech show or anything.
New iPad Pro M5, new MacBook Pro M5, and then the new Vision VR headset M5. That's it. And then I think that was the only gaming related news out of that was that they announced that they were going to sell Sony controllers, the Sense controllers with those. So
it's a big partnership. Those are really good controllers. And as you noted, that's the first time they've been available for sale separately. What have people done if they were broken? They just reach out to Sony and try to get them replaced?
I think you just pay the repairs outside of warranty. Yeah.
Oof. Oy. All right, that's it for us. We're going to games played. We did not do a stream last Saturday. I got caught up with University of Georgia versus Auburn football and totally lost track of time and everything, time and space. You guys didn't get on, did you, and do anything? No. I think a friend of the show, Buish, was also occupado.
Got in my bed and put my head on the pillow.
That was it. Out. Yeah. So hopefully we get back to that this week. The aforementioned football team plays at 3:30, so it should be a little bit easier that evening, potentially. I played some more Final Fantasy X. The crew is on the Mihin High Road. There's a sect of people in the game called the Crusaders that have gone against the teachings of Yevon, which is like the religion, I guess, in this universe, and they use Machina. So they're going to try to defeat Sin, the big giant whale guy, with machines. And this goes against like the teachings, like I said, and the pilgrimage and all that sort of stuff. But the crew is not really judgmental towards their thing. They just, except for Waka. Waka's like, I don't know about this stuff. And there's a group of people called the Albed that also use the Machina. So there's some weird like people's differences that are being addressed in the game where a character doesn't necessarily get along with them. But it's basically just a long stretch. That's kind of the story back lore, but it's a long stretch of just grinding and walking down this road. You fight a boss called the Chocobo Eater, and he can push you off the cliff. He's trying to eat chocobos. He can push you off the cliff. He did that to me the first time. And I was like, wait, what just happened? I didn't beat him. He pushed me off this cliff. And then you see like a chocobo feather come flying down at you. And I'm like, fuck, I just lost. He just ate all those chocobos. So I replayed it and just kind of changed some things around. And I ended up beating him. You can either beat him or turn him around and push him off the cliff. So you either get like spheres for the sphere grid or you get AP if you kill him. And I ended up killing him, which is fine. So I'm headed towards the end of whatever this operation is. I've played this part before. I know it's going to fail. Sin's going to wipe out all these Crusaders. And the party will address those goings on. I played a couple games. There's a Steam Next Fest going on right now. And Cesar was sending us a bunch of those too this past week. Potentially we look at streaming one of those if there's some Steam Deck friendly ones. Brand, have you scoped any of those out that he sent over, the Steam Next Fest? So every quarter, it seems like they do this pretty often. There's a big initiative on Steam to put these demos out, and people can just try new games and give feedback. It's a great thing for developers. It seems like in most of the menus, like the 2 games I'm going to talk about, I could wish list it straight from the menu of the demo, which is great because all the developers that you read about to publish on Steam, they'll say, hey, wish listing propels us in front of views and more eyes and helps sales and all that sort of stuff. That's, if you're interested in a game and you know it's on Steam, wish list it. It is the best thing you can do to help them out. Just like leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes. iTunes is a huge podcast network if you're so inclined. Oh, Renee's in the chat. Hello, Renee. Good evening, sir. The 2 games I played, one of them was called Tears of Metal. You guys like Dynasty Warriors games? Musou?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like Scottish lore and trying to fight the English and big swords and kilts and guys with red hair and beards? Specifically, the guys with red hair and beards.
Like
no,
Braveheart?
Yeah, pretty much. Tears of Metal, it plays exactly like a Musou game. It plays like a Dynasty Warriors, and I had so much fun with it. Specifically, it reminded me of the PSP Dynasty Warriors, where it's like bite-sized maps. The first, I played 2 missions. One's like an objective or a tutorial. So it's telling you basic attacks, which, as anybody who's played a Musou game knows, it's like X, 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 X triangle, X, 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 X triangle. But then you add on, you've got like a jump, almost like a fighting game. You have a series of combinations that you can pull off. So they teach you that, and you're building up a gauge. And when you build up the gauge, you hold a button and you deplete that special and you build it back up. Basically, that's the Musou loop. And you have objectives. You'll have to move around the map and fight gate captains and try to curb different. There's all sorts of things going on in the battlefield. Like, it's not just you mowing through people. There's other captains and generals and stuff that are moving about the battlefield at the same time. And you can pull up the map menu and look at it at any time and see what's happening. But what it does is it gives you a choice as you're going, like left to right. If you look at the large map in between missions, and you could pick where to go next. You could pick which objective to work your way across the map. But it was very polished. It played wonderfully on Steam Deck. I didn't realize until I played the second game I had a frame limiter on my Steam Deck. I had it set to like 45 frames per second. I must have been playing something to where that was like the sweet spot for battery and performance. That was Tears of Metal. And then the other title I played, oh god, this had a long shit. What was the name of this thing? Let me find it real quick because it was like Wrath of the something King. This was basically a Streets of Rage like. Oh, Cesar sent us another title too. No, those are figures. I'm sorry. These are JoJo figures. I got confused. The one I'm talking about is Mad King Redemption. So imagine for this one, like Square Enix has been doing that 2D HD engine. It's like a 2D HD Streets of Rage. Oh, I'm sorry, not Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. You can like jump on these monsters like a Ankylosaurus or something and whip the tail around. You have the big weapons. But at the same time, it's not just like at a 16-bit view. It's maybe a 16-bit character, but it's scaling in and out. And you have these great textures and backgrounds, and there's light platforming involved, and the way the enemies move around. And it just, I talk a lot about, here's what I imagined a 64-bit Golden Axe would look like. And that's kind of what this evolution reminds me of. And it plays really, really well. I had remembered to bump the Steam Deck up to 60 frames per second on this one, and it was solid, what I was playing of it. And I'm pretty sure it said co-op, and I don't know if it's 2, but there's 4 heroes that you can pick. And at any point, you can back out of, there's like a hub world. You can walk over to where the other heroes are around the campfire and just walk up to them and swap out. And the premise is all these characters have died, and they tell you in the bio how you were betrayed and how you failed to protect the queen or something like that. And then the Mad King is like in the background manipulating all this stuff, and it's got a great just atmosphere and everything to it. It's really cool. That is Mad King Redemption, and the first one is Tears of Metal. It's described as a medieval hack and slash co-op roguelike. Everything has roguelike in the description, right? So people on Reddit were crying about. They were like, 90% of the Steam Next Fest games are roguelikes. And it's just people play certain types of games, and publishers create certain types of games to send out to those players who play those type of games. So there's metrics out there saying these are the successful ones. Yeah, I've sent these out there at like 2:30. I couldn't sleep that night. Godbreakers was another one on there. That's 4-player online co-op, but I did not try that one out. That looked like a hack and slash in more of a traditional term. Think of like an isometric style gameplay versus like Dynasty Warriors or something. So, but it still looked like, as we're trying stuff out and we should streaming from a Steam Deck with us and things like that, this would be a good time to kind of mess around with some of this stuff. If you guys look over that list and it's something you want to knock out, I think the next fest is over Monday. I think it runs till Monday. So, but those were my experiences with those. And that is my games played this week.
Passing on to Brant. Didn't play anything this week.
No games. Just got a game from Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm gonna start off with some games acquired because I was excited by these.
Yeah,
went thrifting last weekend.
Yeah,
and spent
Did you
time.
talk about that on the show where you were going to go check out that spot?
I think we talked about it beforehand.
Okay,
but not on the show.
I couldn't remember if it was in the episode or not.
But I went out there and I talked to this guy because he wasn't. The garage sale was maybe like 20 minutes up the road from me. But in his picture, he had a tub full of some retro games. So I went over there to look. And I found some decent stuff. I wound up getting, was it Medal of Honor Frontline for GameCube, Spy Hunter 2 for PlayStation 2.
God, Frontline's such a good game.
Big Brain Academy for DS, and several Genesis games. Double Dribble.
Big Brain Academy, the second one?
First one.
First one, okay.
What
was the game you were talking about?
Double Dribble, the playoff edition.
That's a good one. I think Cesar and I went through a Double Dribble phase.
Konami basketball game. Okay, well, why not? Give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasia, Jurassic Park, Balls.
You did get that copy of Balls. Did you ask him what you said you were going to ask him?
Yes. Fighting at its ballsiest.
Balls.
Got the Jungle Book, Sonic Spinball, and Street Fighter 2.
Just the regular
Champion
one?
Edition.
Oh, there we go. I knew it was coming. It's like there has to be a follow-up here.
As well as a couple other little goodies. The games got cleaned. This got checked out. It doesn't work. He had a bin of stuff that he said was broken. Well, he said it was broken.
Right.
And I looked, and it had a good bit of corrosion on the battery connections. And then when I opened it up, the back board, the corrosion has gotten to the back board. I tried to clean it off and then threw some batteries in there. It still didn't power on, so I'm going to have to work with this a little bit more. But $5, I got me a DMG Game Boy.
DMG,
already brought
baby.
one back to life, so maybe I can get this one working.
Yeah.
I also found for another $5 this Game Boy sling bag that actually has a spot for your Game Boy, some games, and I guess here.
Link cable. I had your instruction booklets. I had a very similar one for Game Boy Color. I think it was a little more rigid than that one you had.
And then I saw my boy Crash. I couldn't leave him there. This is a little Crash Bandicoot plushie.
What is that from? Does that have like a trademark or anything? Can you tell like what era that came from?
He had a little tag. It was gone when I found him.
That's a very cool Crash plushie though. That's a good game room edition.
And out of all of those games, the only game I couldn't get working was Sonic Spinball. but I've got to work with it a little bit more and see if I can't get it working.
Have you got, Brant, with that DMG and especially these contact pins? I used to have some of that stuff floating around here. Have I shown you that contact cleaner, like that can of stuff that you can get?
Oh yeah.
Okay, that works wonders on cartridges and those pins. And I learned that from a guy who used to work on vending machines. He's like, you just spray this shit everywhere. It's great for contacts. Cesar, also, once again, remind me, I keep forgetting on you. He brought up Medal of Honor. I think I have that Avengers Medal of Honor. I think I have another copy laying around. Just remind me to check. I keep forgetting. I don't mean to. The first time we were talking about it in the ocean. Brant, there's a PSP Medal of Honor game that includes like all the heroes from like the original one, the girl from Medal of Honor Underground, the guy from Frontline, like they all team up in this one PSP Medal of Honor game. Cesar called it the Medal of Honor Avengers. But I have, like when I was buying those PSP lots, I think I have a duplicate of at least one of those. One of them got ported to Wii, I thought. But we'll see.
Brant,
that was a good haul, man. You found some good shit in there.
Yeah. And I mean, I got some like other stuff. I found like a little CD, and a vinyl record. But he started like he had the games like 5 for $20. So I mean, I got 10 games, and then I had the Crash plush, the little CD, and the vinyl. And he's like, and he tallied it up. He's like, it's okay, so 50. He goes, and I'd been standing there talking with him for like an extra like 30 minutes, just shooting the shit about video games and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to worry about the rest of this stuff. Just have that. So
very cool.
He was a pretty cool guy. Told me that he, does garage sales every now and then, and he even has a booth at a trading post, a kind of like a flea market deal.
Okay.
So I may go down there and see, because he's like, yeah, he's got some retro toys and games.
Okay.
He said he put some of the nicer stuff down there. So I may go over there and check that out.
Let me know. That might be fun to go visit somewhere. I haven't been to a offhand game shop or anything like that in quite some time. It'd be fun to get out and look again.
Other than that, the big release that came out this week, Pokemon ZA.
Oh yeah.
I've probably got a few hours into it. It's pretty good. It addressed that one issue that like I had with the Pokemon Legends Arceus, where it's like, yeah, it's a good game. It's really unique, but you had like maybe a handful of trainer battles and stuff during the whole game. You don't have like the gym battles or anything. There's no gym challenge, but you still have like actual trainers and stuff that'll come up in certain areas. And the whole, when you get in a battle, whether it's a trainer or just a random Pokemon, you're like free to roam around. And so you can basically, if you see the enemy's Pokemon like ramping up an attack, you can kind of kite your Pokemon and lead them out of the way and dodge their attack.
Oh, that's an interesting mechanic.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I like it a lot. And it performs great on Switch 2.
I've heard that.
I know.
I've heard it's a big upgrade.
Oh yeah. Some people were saying like, oh, the biggest difference is 30 FPS on the Switch or 60 on Switch 2, but there's a little bit more to it than that, because like the draw distances and things. I mean, the pop in on the original Switch, I was looking at comparisons. It's way worse. The draw distances and stuff are just it. We needed the Switch 2 upgrade.
5 years ago.
Yeah. But so far, I mean, I finally got to a portion where I can kind of like walk around the city now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm exploring. I'm walking all around. Every Pokemon Center or little shop or stuff you walk around to, you discover it and it's added to your map and it becomes like a fast travel point too. So at this point, I'm just kind of like walking around and trying to get every fast travel point that I need to. And there's a lot to do, a lot of little side quests and little things going on. So I'm sure this will keep me occupied for a while. And so far it's a pretty damn good game.
Another good first party Switch 2 release.
Oh yeah.
Tide you over until Kirby Air Ride next week or next month.
Next month. And then after that, Samus, Metroid Prime
Quattro. I even set a game acquired here off to the side and forgot about it. I completed the little trilogy on the original Xbox of Dynasty Warriors games. You've heard me on the Dynasty Warriors kick here recently. I grabbed Dynasty Warriors 3 with the old... this was right after I started at EB. They stopped putting the SKUs on the instruction manuals. But I kind of like that as a historic touch. Because they used to pull these from cases and put them in the bin with the disc. And then right after I started, they had stopped doing that. Guess it made it easier to scan. I don't know. They went to the disc-only approach. But that completes... For some reason, I love collecting for the original Xbox. I didn't have any of those, and now I have 3, 4, and 5. Brandon, I jumped in there in the middle of your stuff. Any other games acquired or games played? All right.
That's it.
That's it. Everybody enjoy your weekend. We're going to head off that way, too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See you.